Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Life Happens podcast. I'm your host, Grace. And today we have a freaking amazing topic. We supposed to talk about it last week, but we didn't get to it. Men versus women, double standards. As you know, the Life Happens podcast is a podcast where we combine our spirituality with practical things to create this beautiful balance that you see. So today I'm excited because we have Justin from Elevate with us again, and then my co-host Kimberly Drake. Hi guys, how was yours weekend?
I had a great weekend. I mean, a little too short, but all in all, it was great. So can't complain.
Yeah.
I had a really good weekend. This weekend, I went on a different trail walk because I've been doing that like every Saturday, me and my husband. And so he wasn't able to go with me this Saturday. So I went by myself. And on the trail walk, I was just walking and just praising the Lord and just, in my own, space. So I'm walking across the bridge and a bobcat jumps up on the bridge.
Oh,
Scared me to death.
How big are they? Are they big?
I think he was a baby because he wasn't like big. I was like, "Where's your mama?" Because he was about that big, but he kind of looked at me and showed his teeth, and I was like, "Okay, I got to get across this bridge to get back to my car." And so
No
he's
man.
walking on the bridge as I'm walking on the bridge. Freak! I
Girl,
mean, I
mm-mm.
was, I was, I was very scared.
let me tell
Kill
you,
the ninja dead.
he could have had the keys. He could have had the car.
Yeah.
I'm good.
A bobcat, that scared me. I was like, "Oh my goodness." Of course, I
Yeah.
tried to take out my phone and try to get a picture, as I'm kinda trotting along, and he started trotting with me. I'm like, "Nah, dude, this ain't." I'm Yeah, before you come over here and jump, let me get off this bridge as quickly as possible.
No ma'am.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
I always tease my fiance with this saying because she's very adventurous and outdoorsy. And usually when we're on vacation, she likes to do things that normally I wouldn't do, such as zip lining,
Mhm.
Oh,
uh,
that's cool.
parasailing, things of that
Oh,
nature.
cool.
Yeah, things in the water like ocean. And I always tell her, I don't want to be the first black man that died on Animal Planet. Because anytime you watch those shows on Animal Planet, no disrespect, but they're always Caucasian. You never see black people being killed in the wild. And I don't want to be the first one.
I was
So
just thinking that when Kim was like wanting to take pictures, go by.
I know. I tried. I kinda got the 'cause I kinda slowed down, so I kinda got a little bit of them. But yeah, I have to
No
show you guys that
ma'am.
next week. I was very afraid, be very afraid, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that is Caucasian people stuff.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Real black people, we will kill you dead before you get me. Okay. And I'm from Africa. I'm gonna kill you dead. If you bite me, I'm biting you back. What?
I saw a sign said, "Do not feed the wildlife." And as I was walking, I kept seeing this sign, and I'm like, "I haven't seen any wildlife. I don't know why they keep having this sign, 'Do not feed wildlife.'" So I'm like, "Well, maybe there's some, because I'm on a trail, so there's woods on this side and woods on this side. And so I'm like, well, maybe there's raccoons or possums or something. No, it never crossed my mind,
I'm not
that there
Yeah.
was
playing.
bobcat.
I ain't playing with none of them. They ain't got
Yeah,
to tell me don't feed them. I'm not. I don't even play with the ducks in my neighborhood. I'm like,
you
no,
don't.
no. Mm-mm.
Hi Ben.
Hi, Ben.
Mr. Ben.
Hi Brian.
Hey, Brian.
And then Ben says we don't like the wilds. No, we don't. Like
Um,
when I went home in February, I was like, listen, guys, I haven't been here for a long time. I'm an American now. All this bullshit you'll do, can't do it. Like, and I never share this. My mom refuses to drink bottled water, because she said the immunity has been built up in her system. I opened the tap water. It is brown, lady. It's brown first, and then it runs clear. Ain't nobody drinking the water. Like nobody. My brother and I were having a rough time, in just the stuff she does. She's so old school.
You would not drink the water, Rabia?
Absolutely goodbye. No, you can drink brown water? Really? I mean, a lot of the stuff I used to eat, like I don't eat anymore.
Mhm.
because the textures change, the taste has changed.
Yeah.
It's I can't believe I even ate this thing. Like in our yard, they used to like kill sheep, right? For example. And
Hmm.
then my mother would cut up like the meat and she would cook it fresh and we would
Hmm.
eat it. Now I know you need to be dead for a couple of days
I
first.
know.
I'm not doing that. Uh-uh.
You got a whole slaughterhouse in your front yard. That's crazy.
No,
I
really,
know.
okay, because we were I was raised Muslim, and so you kill meat like animals a very specific way. Like like the Old Testament, you
Yeah.
cut the throat, you let it bleed out. So they used to dig this hole in the yard, and you would actually see it happening. And we had fresh meat, and we had chickens. I had a pet rooster named Roy. I love Roy, and I came home one day, and that he was dead. He was in the pot. But I mean, we knew he was for food, but I just didn't go
Right.
and kill Roy because Roy would follow me. Like, I mean, hey, we were cool.
Don't get too attached.
No, don't. Okay, guys, this is the part of the show where we have the Dear Kim, Dear Grace segments. Okay, so I'm going to read the scenario. So, my husband stopped having sex with me. Not my husband. This is the scenario, okay? So, anyway, my husband stopped having sex with me 6 months ago because he's stressed about our financial situation. To him, we are broke and on the verge of losing everything. To me, we are fine and I feel safe and secure. Our financial situation is better than anything I've had in my life. But he comes from money and is used to having 10K in savings at all times. I feel like without the intimacy we used to share, I'm falling out of love with him. He pays less attention to me overall because he's trying to distract himself from reality with video games and political podcasts. I'm very miserable and tired of putting energy into this relationship that isn't being returned to me. And I haven't had anyone to talk to about this. What can or what should I do?
Wow. That's a lot.
It is.
That's a lot to unpack. Okay. Okay, Justin, we want your thoughts since you are our guest.
No, no, no. I insist. Ladies first. Ladies first.
Then I'll go first.
There we
Um, I felt like hmm, let me uh I okay. Sex helps you relieve stress. So I don't understand why they're not using that as a tool if that is the problem that she is stating, that he has a lot of stress and he's just not performing, and this is a problem. Well, I mean, you can read up in any sort of medical book, you can read in a psychology book that sex releases stress. So I don't believe that that's the problem. I believe that when um, a husband or a wife stops having sex, that they're being satisfied someplace else,
Mm.
or they're doing the satisfying themselves and they've got comfortable with that. I have a friend whose husband uh, stopped having sex with her. They had been married for like, I don't know, like 10 years. And she had stopped having sex and she didn't know why. And then she found out that he was heavily into pornography. And having sex with her just was not satisfying enough because of the fantasy that he had built up by watching so much pornography. And so, but they got to the root of the problem where they're no longer together because he would not let that go. He refused. But I always feel like there's something behind it. It's not just like, I'm stressed, darling. That's why I don't want you to touch me, or I don't want to touch you. No, there's something else going on. Yeah, she needs to dig a little bit deeper into the root cause of it, which is probably he's probably having an affair. I'm assuming. That is my assumption. He is having an affair, get to the bottom of it. And I believe that we as women, and I don't know, Justin, you can tell me if men do too. They have like this sixth sense, like something is off, something ain't right. What is it? What is my intuition telling me? My intuition is telling me you cheating.
Mm.
Let me read some comments. The intellect, I don't know who that is. He says, tell him hell. Yeah. And then Brian has eye emojis, right?
That's A Trap. That's H Rap. We can't call him Brian. We gotta call him H Rap.
Okay, Atrap. I'm very formal. My bad,
Yeah,
Atrap.
that's my big brother there.
Is that why I'm stressed out?
Yes, Brian, that is why you're stressed out.
The intellect says anxiety impacts the libido. She should focus on helping him relieve the roots of the worry and increase stresses. See, that's where I'm going. I never thought he was cheating because of what she said in the beginning. To me, the root is a money issue. Okay. And maybe she's overspending because she does say she's never had this type of lifestyle before, right? So I don't think he's cheating. I just think he's stressed about their finances. And oh, girl, I mean, she ain't stressed. And now she's saying, oh, she's falling out of love with him. What are you doing to help this man with his stress? I mean, did you ask him? I mean, really, did you ask him? We're so quick to make assumptions that people could be cheating. Now, wait. We do have a sixth
Okay,
sense. I agree.
we
But
do.
in this story, it
Yeah.
says it's a money issue. I mean, that's all you hear. It's a money issue. And because he's not laying pipe because, girl, where,
For 6 months, though, Rabia. I'm not talking about a week. I'm not talking about 2 weeks. I'm talking about 6 months.
but
6 months,
Kim,
dude is getting it someplace else. I'm sorry, I have to
I don't know if it's
disagree.
cheating.
Yeah, I do. And
I
that's
don't know if it's
bad.
cheating because she says it's a money issue.
I've been married 25 years. 25. And I've had money issues in my marriage. Yes. We have had issues in our marriage. Never went 6 months without having sex. I'm sorry. That's not, nope.
But people deal with stress differently if you think.
Nope. I don't care.
I
Nope.
mean, really,
I,
I don't
I
know.
mean, I mean, not to cut y'all off, but I have to honestly say that in a situation like that, there's resentment, and the resentment
Agreed.
that man is having towards that woman. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Kim. There's no way 6 months and I haven't touched you or anything. Like either I'm just gonna be honest. Either I'm getting it somewhere else, or I'm just trying to figure a way out to get out of this, so I don't hurt you or hurt your
Okay.
feelings.
Or he doesn't like her. Because there's a difference between loving and liking someone. I feel it's worse when you don't like somebody. Because if I don't like you, I can't stand you, I don't want to be around you. Because I can love you. Because the Bible says to love everybody, right? You owe me, the Bible says you owe no man anything but to love him. So I can love you, but I can't stand you. And maybe the money issue has caused him not to stand her, and then she's going out shopping like she's got money. And I mean, I know I can be well anyway, let me not talk about me.
But you don't know if she's going out shopping. You don't know if she's spending. She's just like, I am comfortable with where we're at. Maybe she's used to living paycheck to paycheck and he's
And he's
not.
not, apparently.
So,
That's the beauty of relationships, because
yeah.
at that point there has to be a conversation had. And for a man, I mean, my advice to any ladies that are watching this podcast right now or watching it here in the future, if your man is not trying to initiate anything with you within months, 9 times out of 10, that brother does not want you anymore. And if you care that much, you need to have that conversation. And it may not go the way you want it to go, but you hope that that person loves you enough or cares about you enough to be honest and real with you. Because at that point, it, I would be afraid that the woman's stepping out. If she's
Yeah.
allowing me to get away with, well, I'm occupying my time by playing video games or whatever the case may be, then at that point, like, yo, she ain't too much worried about me either, because she's going elsewhere for her needs or her satisfaction.
Okay, I need to read this comment because Eric said something very vital. He says she has had to have said something, shown him something that has turned him off as well. That is true.
Right.
I just don't think this is all on him. Now, and you're right though. If a man doesn't touch you for a long period of time, he don't like your ass, and he's not attracted to you probably. I mean, because
And he's probably getting it someplace else.
Yeah.
and that's a possibility. That is a great possibility. I'm not saying, oh, he couldn't be doing that, but when I'm reading the scenario, to me, it's like to me, she has a poverty mentality. Do you see that? Like, he's used to having a certain amount of money. She doesn't say she's spending, but I think this woman is out here wilding out spending money.
I don't think she's wilding out.
I think she is.
I think
Because
she's
what he
I
said.
think she's just used to living paycheck to paycheck, and she's not used to having um that overabundance of money. And she's okay with that lifestyle. Maybe he's not, but yeah.
I mean,
I think they need to go to therapy, because 6 months is a long time to be married and having no intimacy.
no intimacy. There's to me, there's really no coming back from that. If it's been 6 months, like realistically, that's half of a year. There's really no coming back from that. As much, I don't care how much you say you love or care about me. Just because you love me or care about me doesn't mean we have to be together. And that growth, that separation has already transpired, already taken place. At that point, he's looking at you as a liability, not an asset, a liability. And what most people want to do with liabilities, let's cut those ties off.
I don't know, y'all. I mean, I understand.
It's right there, though. I mean, to me, there's nothing to truly think about. Like, me as a man personally, I'm not going to allow myself to be with a woman that I'm not interested in being intimate with. Like, why? For what? I can do this by myself. I can take care of myself and cut ties with you instead of stringing you along and creating this narrative of I need answers. I'd rather just be upfront and real with you and tell you, hey, you know what? Unfortunately, where we're at in life isn't aligning at this moment. And I don't think that me and you are on the same page. And I don't see a future here. So let's just go ahead and move forward.
But think about how she's talking about how the brother is spending his time.
Yeah.
He's playing video games and listening to podcasts.
Ain't no grown man living with a woman or have a woman or whatever they may be, husband, wife, girlfriend, whatever. You're not living with another adult that you're sexually attracted to and not acting on that. So at that point, 6 months, are you waiting for the lease to end? Like, what's going on?
Yes.
And that's fine.
But lease said he's done.
Yeah, you got to at least be honest.
A-Trap says, agree, Justin. And then Facebook user, I don't know who Facebook user is, but they said, I missed the scenario, but it sounds like someone has been rejected within the relationship or marriage. You know what? I feel like I'm a root person. If there's an issue, I like to get to the root. I'm not sure if she got to, I need to know why you don't want to have sex with me. Like, what's up?
Yeah.
I would have the conversation.
That's not going to go on for 6 months.
What I'm going to do, you know what? This is silly though, but I was thinking I will take it from you when you're sleeping. What?
No, but see, this is the thing. Most of us, and I'm glad that Mr. Jones has joined us. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Most men, especially when it's a woman that they have been with, whether it's intimacy, whether it's a relationship, or just a woman that they care about, most men do not want to hurt women's feelings. And that can be misleading to a lot of women. So in that case, I don't want to string you along. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I'm not going to go 6 months and tell you, oh, I'm just so stressed out over, our financials. I'm going to tell you, like, look, either we're going to make something work here, because I'm not going 6 months and not touching you. That's not happening. But
that's a long ass time.
That's something to think about too. No disrespect to anybody, but maybe the brother gay.
No, but
I didn't think about that.
But I like what Eric said. He said there seems to be a difference of values, and that is a huge component. Furthermore, the lack of sex lends to show that the marriage may have been based on low-hanging fruit, like sex. That's a possibility as well. So, Brian, what are your thoughts? What do you think?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. when I first read the scenario, the first sentence, um, where she said that he's stressed out about the financial situation, the very first thing that I thought about was that a lot of men and more men that probably want to admit this is that when they feel as though that they're not providing um, their household in the way that they think they should, that their confidence goes from whatever to zero, right? And that affects them in multiple areas, including the bedroom, right? Um, but then I got, you read on some more, and then you talk about, you hear about him playing video games and doing other things. So then there's different things that are leading me to think that it's not just, hey, I don't want to have sex with my wife because I'm not making an X amount of money, right? Like one comment just said, it seems like a difference of values from the start. It seems like someone, of course, we talk about this all the time. Somebody wanted to change somebody, and it didn't happen because it doesn't matter. A person who's making the next amount of money who likes to have $10,000 in the savings, that doesn't mean the other person makes $30,000 a year. I'm not sure where that component is. I'm not sure if a woman is a teacher that makes 50 grand a year, and I'm stretching that because teachers are totally underpaid, and the man is some type of business owner or whatever who's used to making $400K a year, but the not having sex for 6 months and not communicating about it, and then that is leading her to become disinterested, then that's gonna, we're talking about lack of communication. We're talking about lack of comprehension. We're talking about a lot of stuff at that point, just with that facet of their relationship. So just imagine what else is going on if they can't sit down and have a conversation about why they're not having sex, or lead on hints and or not go to counseling or not go to kid therapy or something like that, then they're having way more problems than we think.
Right. There's more to the story than obviously just that, because I can see a woman not wanting to have sex, but for a man not to touch his wife, that's odd.
But even if a woman goes 6 months, that's ridiculous.
That's long.
Like, in my mind, if she goes, this may be too much information, but if she goes a week, I'm bugging out. Like, yo, you all right? What's going on? What's happening with you? Like, most men are not gonna sit there and be like, honey, this is why I don't want to have sex. They're not doing that. Most of us are gonna be, we're initiating. Hey, we gonna do little subtle hints. Hey, I want to take you out to dinner. Get dressed, or hey, why don't you go in, take a shower, or whatever. And you're going to try to set the mood for her to figure out what's going on. There's not really let's sit down and have this conversation about why we're not being intimate. Even if a man is resenting that woman, like you said, the stress reliever, the frustration buildup, that's usually the way to relieve a lot of that. And a woman can feel that, because usually what men have to realize is we're the light and the women are our vessel. So when you're entering a woman's womb, you're putting your energy inside of her. So she can tell if, wow, hold on, something different. He must be upset about something, or wow, he's rougher than normal. She can tell by your sexual language, like, what's going on. And then you allow her to engage you with that conversation. But most of us are not going and being like, well, let's talk about this, because of financial reasons, I'm not having sex with you. And if the finances were that bad, he don't have time to be playing a video game. Sorry. His video game is going to be, hey, baby, I'm working overtime because your ass. Exactly. You're not helping me. So when I come home, I expect to have a clean house. I expect to have my meal ready. And I expect you to be able to please me in that bedroom, because I done bust my ass and you ain't doing nothing. So I need you to bust your ass open for me. Sorry about the language.
Now, when I was talking to my friend, this is like when I first got married, my first couple of years of marriage, a really good friend of mine, her and her husband had been married about the same time, but she would make advances to her husband, right? And he would say, "Oh, not tonight, baby. I'm so tired. I just worked a double shift." And she go, "Okay." And so she tried again another night. He's, "Oh, I'm just so tired. I'm so sorry. Maybe tomorrow night." And so she called me and she's like, "I don't know why, but he's working a lot and he's not wanting to have sex. He just hasn't been wanting to." Well, come to find out, he was cheating on her. He was.
Yeah,
But
that's a whole different story, though. Yes, I
But
mean,
that's a
I'm saying I don't know if she's made advances because she didn't say in her scenario that she's making advances and being turned away. You know what I'm saying?
Well, she did say something to the point where she says, "I'm tired of putting energy into this relationship that isn't being returned to me."
Yeah.
So if we want to like pinpoint that and then try to think how she's thinking, it says, well, she's making advances and that
Right.
type of that assumption, then yes. But in situations like when you start talking about that and you start talking about your friend saying that she made advances and he rejected, she made advances, and there is nothing in a marriage that is new. I'm going to keep saying that a million freaking times. What happened in the marriage happened prior to, and the I do's don't change jack. If she was getting rejected as in being married, she got rejected in the relationship, right? And he ended up cheating in the marriage. That means he was pretty much cheating before they got married, or he cheated and she let him back in. She found out. It doesn't matter this in this particular scenario. If she's putting forth energy and it's not being returned,
Yeah.
it's been going on, right? This is not new. And if there's one thing I do not like, and I personally have never been married before, right? But I'm not dumb enough to know if I jump off the Empire State Building without a parachute and hit the ground that I'm not dumb enough to think that I'm going to survive that, right? If whatever happened, if him not having sex with her for 6 months, her putting forth effort and not getting it in return, the whole money situation, the discrepancy about how he feels and how she feels about it, that stuff was happening prior to that. They got married, and then it just got magnified by 1,000 after the IDs. That's all. That's all the scenario is.
well,
but usually most men, if we're having a different view financially, I'm not even gonna put a ring on your finger, because you would hope that the mindset at that point to do something as serious as marriage, you would hope that the mindset is, before we even think about this, we need to make sure financially that we're going to be strong and stable together. And we have to make sure we come to some type of common ground. If the man comes from money and he's accustomed to having 10,000 in savings, okay, we can't do the 10,000. Are you comfortable with doing 5? Meet me somewhere. Because let's just be honest, we're all older here. So the physical attraction to your mate eventually fades. We've all been there where you're physically attracted to someone, and then when you finally have that opportunity, or you finally, get with that individual, that begins to fade. Then you start looking for something called substance. If there's no substance there, then what are we doing? So obviously, this man, there's been something that has happened dramatically, or there's some type of life change within him dramatically that has turned him completely away from his wife. And at that point, that's where you have to be willing as a man. I feel like it's our duty and our responsibility to, hey, let's sit down and have this conversation.
true.
Well, you would hope, but the statistic of divorces says that the number one and the number two reason that people get divorced is infidelity, lack of trust, and money.
Yeah.
There was a discrepancy with money, whether money be the top one or the second one. The statistic is that money is one of the first top two. So, you, like you said, you would hope that prior to that, a man wouldn't even try to ask a wife to be married if that money situation was that dire of an issue, or vice versa. The woman wouldn't say yes, yada yada. But in fact, they do, and then they try to change the person. It doesn't work, and then you get divorced for pretty much the same reason that you never should have got married in the first place.
Right. But you also got to think about it this way too. The number one, usually the woman is the one that initiates the divorce. It's very seldomly that a man is filing for divorce. So with that being said, either this man has gave her an opportunity to correct the behavior, and even then, I'm sorry, 6 months, there's no man that I know that's going to be like, yeah, 6 months, I ain't touched my wife. No way. You're going somewhere else. And even to Kim's point, even with the pornography addiction, you're not satisfied with that. Not for 6 months. That may be able to carry you over for a few days, but 6 months? Hell no. That man is in some type of club or at some type of bar or at some type of college campus waiting on that new batch to graduate in May.
Let me read some comments. You know what? I don't agree with you guys. I really don't. Because of what she said in the beginning. Let me read this. And me and Eric on the same page. Y'all are wrong. Okay? Anyway.
Please explain why I'm wrong. I gotta hear.
Maybe it's physical. Stress causes ED. And most men aren't going to say, hey, I can't perform. The money may be an excuse. True. And then Eric says something really interesting. He has expressed this to her. She explained his feeling in detail. And she expressed the exact opposite feeling. Again, proving that they are on different frequencies, which can impact desire, attraction, etc. I agree with that because from the beginning, she said the stress was because of money. Now, I will agree, 6 months is a long ass time not to get no booty, and you married in the same house, sleeping in a bed with a woman. I don't understand how, but hey, I don't think he's cheating. I really don't believe he's cheating. I think I don't know. I think she's the problem.
But Grace, you're a woman, so you're not gonna truly understand how. I'm not gonna say all men, but how most men operate. You won't understand that, and even for us as men, we don't understand everything that you guys do or how you operate. That's why there is this magnet and this bond of let's figure it out and let's figure it out together. You know who your partner is, you know who your mate is, and if you guys have that relationship where there's been 6 months and there's no intimacy, then that's not a relationship you want to be in, or most people would not want to be in. You can't tell me you're going to marry a man that says, hey, I don't have to have sex every 6 months. You're going to be like, well, you ain't the one for me.
You ain't.
Exactly. Even women feel that way. So imagine going to a man telling a man like, hey, you only get me every 6 months. He gonna be like, okay, well, you on your high horse, and I'm gonna let you keep riding that shit somewhere else because it ain't working for me.
Right. I mean, yeah, and it sounds like certain pertinent conversations didn't take place, obviously. Otherwise, this is the result. Eric says, not true, Justin. He's Johnson, probably not working because his mind is on his money. Right, wrong, indifferent. Adric says, I'm with Grace. I'm not lying in the bed next to my woman more than 6 months without touching her. It doesn't even have to be for sex. I mean, for real, though.
Yeah.
Now, guys, the topic today is men versus women double standards, right? I want to read something because we can debate about this woman. I'm going to say I don't like her. I just don't like her attitude. Like, I don't like her attitude. And I'm a woman, and I should be on the side of the vaginas, but I'm not. I'm like, no, there's something missing. There's something she is not saying. And she's lying about something. Or she's not, I wouldn't say she's lying, but she's just not giving us the full story. Because
she's not comfortable doing that. Think about it. That topic within itself, that whole scenario is embarrassing enough. Because it's women like you that say, well, what are you doing? Why are you not helping that man? Or what is it that you're doing that's making that man feel like he's not You know, why is he not attracted to you? And at that point, that's how it becomes, and it sucks. But if I was friends with that man, I would definitely be like, dude, you need to walk away. It's 6 months. And the fact that she says she's falling out of love, that tells me, yo, she wants her needs met and she's gonna step out. That's really what she's saying without saying it. She's just covering up saying I'm falling out of love.
Yeah. The problem is, what I can tell is that she has not turned to self and looked at herself and said, okay, why? Before, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we're going to point the blame. Have you looked at yourself to, okay, why does my husband not want to have sex with me? What am I doing? And then once you first evaluate yourself first, then I can say, okay, I'm good in this area. I haven't done this. I didn't do, but blah, blah, blah. And then now I can address you, because a lot of times we want to say, you made me act this way. You a grown ass woman. Okay. No one can make you do anything. You in control of your emotions. Derek asked, is this posted somewhere? No, I'll send the scenario to you via messenger, but I'm going to read the definition of double standard. A sexual double standard can be broadly defined as a standard that judges sexual behavior differently for men and women, with men being more positively evaluated than women for showing the same sexual behaviors. So when it comes to sex, right? So how men and women are judged in regard to sexual activities. What are your thoughts on that? Because I hear a lot of women saying, you know, it's not fair. Men can do whatever they want to do, and no one judges them or points fingers at them or treats them a certain way. And, you know, this is 2022 and I can use my body how I want to. What are your thoughts on that? Kim, we'll start with you, honey.
Well, because I'm a Christian. So I think that sexual activity should be the same for men and women. I just don't believe in people going around having multiple sex partners, because I also believe that you give a little bit of yourself away every time you do that. So I don't agree with um, doing that. You create soul ties with different individuals. And so having multiple, if we're talking about multiple sex partners, I don't agree with it for men and women, because those people and the relationships and all these things that you had, the intimacy that you had before you find your mate, or before you find that one person who you want to spend the rest of your life with, you're bringing all that crap that you engaged in beforehand, and you're bringing that into the relationship. And I don't agree with it as far as for men or women. But we
Kim,
are judged differently. We are judged differently. Come on, this society judges women. Women are whores, you know, men sow their wild oats. So, right there, even in that speech right there, it tells you women that go out and have multiple sex partners, yeah, you're a whore. You're a whore. Yeah. Not that you have a a libido, an active libido, or you have this, you just really enjoy sex. No. If you're having multiple sex partners in this society that we live in, that's what you are. But a man, no. That brother, he out there sowing his wild oats. That brother out there doing his thing. Yeah, before he get married, he want to taste all the little fruit on the trees, before he settled down to that one tree, and that's acceptable. And what's sad about it is that parents are raising their children like that. Parents do not raise their sons to be abstinent, or they don't teach their sons about abstinence and how important that is for a man as it is for a woman. But no, this society propagates men to just go out and just do it and just have all these exploits. But women, they want to chasten. Yeah, it's a double standard.
oh my gosh. Eric said this doesn't sound like a sugar box motivated issue, and it's probably her that's cheating, and she's getting emotional approval to go on with the Joe smashing right now. Yeah, I said it. Brian, what are your thoughts?
Um,
And by the way, I cannot see the comments anymore. Kim, can you see the comments?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna have to click on the new comments, because for some reason I just clicked the now I can't see them. Period. So
Okay.
okay, I'm sorry.
There is a double standard. True. we also have to talk about culturally, right? In our culture, especially Black people, it was the king who had multiple wives, or the head of the tribe who had multiple wives. Um, Even if we read the Bible, Solomon had an X amount of wives and an X amount of concubines. However, we sometimes misinterpret that with sex. Every time Solomon married a woman, that doesn't mean he had sex with that woman. In biblical times, people married because of treaties, or because I'm going to marry your daughter in protection of your spices and herbs that you have, and I will guarantee your protection. And you guarantee that you fight in my army if I marry your daughter, right? There was a lot of different reasons why people got married. Whether I just want to have another woman to have sex with. That was not always the case. Um, but it still says, even in Solomon's case, a man had a whole bunch of women, right? So regardless of interpretation, it has been culturally that men and having a lot of women is synonymous with power. It's synonymous with, like Kim said, men sowing their royal oats, having a lot of kids, having a lot of sons, things like that. But in our society, it's a double standard simply because the woman controls everything with sex. If a woman does not allow a man to penetrate her, sex doesn't happen. If she says no and then he continues, it's called rape. So um, with sex, the more she allows herself to have men inside of her, the more she's seen like that she's a whore, that she's a prostitute, things like that. Um, and then of course the man who's running around and has sex with 10 women, like I said, it's more so of a mindset that we've been having for centuries, to where a man having multiple women equals status, power, things like that. So yeah, it's a double standard, and I'm not sure that it's ever going to go away, but it's definitely one.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go away. Have you guys ever heard of a book called Sperm Wars?
No.
Okay, you know every time a man ejaculates into a woman, he becomes part of a DNA?
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Yes.
Hell no. Hell no. If nothing else keeps your legs closed, that should. I mean, seriously. Like every dude, you may want to have a one night stand, and maybe you don't use protection. Now we know I'm not talking from a spiritual perspective now, just physical. And he ejaculates into your body, he's gonna become part of my DNA? I don't think so. You gotta be real special.
And your offspring too becomes a part of his DNA in a small facet, whether it be small, big, but a part of him that you may or may not know about.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's a deep theory.
Uh-huh. And you're right, it's never gonna change. It's something I don't even really like. I don't When I hear people saying that, and I've heard my nieces because they're young, saying certain things, and I'm like, girl, why are you putting your energy into that? It's like you devalue yourself. Now, a lot of women may not want to hear that. And yes, men can have sex with you and it's acceptable, but as a woman, you do devalue yourself. People look at you differently. I mean, I didn't make it up. You know what I'm saying? This is just reality.
Yeah.
And from an African culture and raised Muslim, virginity, there was like it was stressed to remain a virgin. They would even do checks, random checks, literally. Because I'm not kidding, and this is in 2022, and I was born in 75. That's my real age. But my point is, there was I mean, and Muslim people stress it because, say, for example, my mother said, okay, marry this guy. And I married this guy and she set up this marriage and I'm not a virgin. That's a problem. That is a huge problem. They'll send you back to your house. And I mean, we in modern days now, right?
Right.
But I mean, it's what it is. Kim, can you read some of the comments, please?
I can. Brian Williams said, this is an interesting topic. And the intellect said, indeed, B. Jones, accuracy all over the place. And Brian came back with semen demons. And Derek Smith said, he's stressed and she's not sharing the load. He's turned off because turned off because she's looking for him to care for her, but she doesn't. She can't relate. She doesn't feel like she's on his team. They should not be
Mm.
married. And the intellect said, "That's deep for sure. That's deep for sure. Never heard of that. Sperm wars, huh? Looks up. He's looking for the book."
Yeah,
And
I
then the
was.
last thing he says is a key that you can open many locks is a master key. A lock that can be opened by any key is a broken lock.
Mm, mm, mm.
And plus, you talk about culturally, from that cultural standpoint, whether it be South African, which is my favorite, or we could even talk about Roman culture or Greek culture. If a woman was quote unquote soiled and had already had sex and wasn't a virgin, the person that she was marrying did not think she was pure enough to carry his bloodline. And no matter if he's had sex before, the vessel in which I put my seed in, it needs to be pure, right? And that offspring from that pure vessel is going to be strong, is going to be courageous, is going to be everything that dad was, and even more. And you do not want that bloodline to be impure by having the woman already, had sex somewhere. She becomes totally impure. She becomes, just a throwaway, really. I mean,
And
it's
he
sad
out
because
here hoeing, but he out here hoeing, just
yeah, yeah,
seed
yeah.
everywhere.
It's sad because even like if Roman culture is so, I mean, they were pretty bad. But if a woman, let's just say, women were so seen as low anyway. If a man had a daughter, if a man and a wife had a daughter, they wouldn't name the daughter for 3 or 4 or 5 years, right? Because the women were so low in the Roman world. They wanted to have sons, not only because of heirs, but you gotta funnel all these kids into the army, right? Rome was synonymous with war and conquering, and one way you feel that is by having sons. But if the woman was impure and someone found out, she was dead. She was just like, whatever. Men did not want to put their seed in an impure vessel.
Mm, facts. Okay, Justin, I need to hear your thoughts.
I I don't that to be completely honest with you, like for me personally, um, it's women that ultimately hold the key to sex, correct? So, like Brian said, if you're a man that's forcing yourself upon a woman, that's called rape, right?
Mm,
So it speaks to, especially in today's culture, in today's society, it speaks to our women and the type of women that are being raised and the type of women that are being produced out here for young men. Because most women are not looking for that pure virgin guy. Most women are looking for that he's the popular cat, especially when you're young. And I mean, most of us start, having sexual relationships in high school or college, right? And most women are attracted to the bad boy, the jock, the popular kid. And most of those kids are not virgins. So at the end of the day, my gripe is with the woman because you're choosing to allow a man to penetrate you that number one, ain't no good for you. Number two, has no type of real understanding of his wand or what he's doing with his wand. Number three, then you're looking for when you get to that point where your desire or I guess you could say your peak starts hitting that slope, then you're looking for that good guy to come in. Then you're looking for that guy to say, oh, I haven't had a lot of partners. I haven't been all around, whatever, whatever. Then you're looking for that after you've been ran through the ringer.
but
And
now,
the example that I give you is for today's society is a guy like Future. This guy he's the rapper. He has multiple baby mamas and continues to have baby mamas with no type of marriage to these women at all. And what's funny was he made a post on Instagram and he said, Valentine's Day sucked because I got to go out and buy all my women's gifts. And it's women that throw themselves at this type of behavior. It's women that throw themselves at this type of guy. So what do you expect for a young man to want to aspire to be like?
I mean,
Well, I disagree because I don't think it's all on the woman like you said it is.
It has to be.
Because no, it's not. Because women can. There is such thing as manipulation. There is such thing as seduction. There is a such thing as that. I mean, yeah, you put a woman. Women have been okay.
So hold on.
You put a woman in a
thought.
in a scenario where she is alone with a guy and she's alone and he's seducing her. Now, yeah, she is being seduced by all this stuff, everything that's coming at her. You can't blame the woman for saying, "Oh yeah, well maybe if that guy wouldn't have seduced her, then maybe
What?
you can't blame the woman. You can't give
no.
100% to the woman. You cannot. You have to give some sort of credit to the man and what he wants.
There's something called pussy power. You hold the fucking key, girl.
No.
That's why I begin.
No.
That's why I begin this conversation.
There's nothing wrong. Okay, so a guy. Okay, so there's no such thing as seduction. There's no such thing as manipulation. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. But let's go from a biblical standpoint. I'm gonna chunk this out here.
Kim, this comment, please, baby.
What'd you say?
Comments.
Can you guys see the comments? There's 7
Yes.
comments.
Okay. Oh yeah, I was gonna wait for Brian. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Brian.
Genesis chapter 3 basically says the number one weakness and the number one strength of a woman is the ability to persuade and the ability to be persuaded. Right? So like we're all saying is a woman can persuade with that thing and she can be persuaded by that thing. But regardless if she's being seduced or she's the one seducing, it's not until she says okay that anything goes down. That is that if she can say no at any given time. And like in the garden, once the enemy saw that she didn't know what tree was in the middle of the garden somehow because there was 2 of them and she only mentioned one, he was like, kink, let me work on this angle and let me get her to eat this fruit, because if she eats it, nothing's going to happen. And then she's going to persuade Adam because she didn't die. Yeah, we can go into that. But she could have said no at any given time. She was like, that fruit is not what we're supposed to eat. She could have said no. So it's the same thing. If she's being persuaded, if she's being seduced by a man, like you're talking about, Kim, I feel what you're saying, but it's ultimately, she could say, once she says no, anything after that is rape. Right?
And that's my whole point. And that's why I put the blame on women. If you know that a man, I don't care how attractive he is to you, and I give you a scenario, and this is going to be a bit extreme, but I'm going to give it.
I can't wait
That's like a man that he tells you straight up, yo, I got AIDS, but you're so physically attracted to him, you're going to say he persuaded me to do this?
We're not attracted anymore.
Oh, thank you. So that's my point. So when you're attracted to the bad boy or the popular kid, or you're attracted to the popular man that has multiple baby mamas, no wives, no ex-wives, but baby mamas, and you continue to be like, yeah, let me throw myself at this man, that tells me enough that I need to hear about you as a woman. You ain't the type of woman that I need to be with.
Right.
Let me read the comments. There are a lot of comments.
Okay, go ahead.
Facebook user. I don't know who Facebook user is, but he says, I don't agree with that. Having multiple sex partners as a female doesn't devalue her. Some women do it. They just want to have fun, and some people just got to grow up. Nowadays, ain't nobody no virgin. Brian Williams says, Rabia, take down the live banner. And you'll be able to see the comments.
Blocking me, I can't.
No, because if I take it, okay, let me.
And he said you'll be able to see.
Hold up, let me show you what happened. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Hold on.
Go ahead. Take down. Okay, take down the live banner. You'll be able to see the comments.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, well, let me see.
Go to comment.
Man, I can't see shit. No.
Okay. Derek Smith said virginity is shunned in our society, period. Virginity. Virginity is shunned. Oh, okay. Brian Williams said seduction isn't a one-way street. And Derek Smith said that's bananas. So there's no personal responsibility to avoid seduction and manipulation. What?
That was from your comments.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
agree.
listen, guys. It
No.
comes back to values, right? Values. I was born in South Africa, as you'll know. I came here when I was 19. It was imputed in me. Keep your legs closed, right? 19. I came to America, freedom. I could do whatever the hell I want to do. I was away from my parents. No one could tell me shit. I was American now. I didn't do that. I saw everybody else around me. It goes back to your foundation, your upbringing, your values. It was it's like, almost like a
It does.
I mean, so bottom line, I mean, shoot.
Okay, but Robbie, here's one of the comments says virginity is what? It's devalued or
virginity is shunned in our society today.
Virginity is shunned in our society. Okay, cool. I agree with that. Here's a double standard about virginity. Would a man be impressed if a woman was a virgin more so than a woman would be impressed if a man was a virgin? Or would it be looked down upon? Would the woman look at it? If you met a man and all of a sudden you liked him and all that, and he said, I'm a virgin. Most women would look down on that. They would go, what? Hell no. Because women say this all the time, and it is a freaking double standard of lack of self-accountability and everything. Women want to see how it is before they even move into some engagement or into some relationship, and if he say he a virgin, well, they don't know don't know how it is, and women be like, well, I ain't finna jump in no marriage if he don't know how to stroke it and if he don't know how to do this, woo, woo, woo. But a man would see that as a plus if a woman was a virgin, but women see that as a bad thing if a man is a virgin. That is a huge double standard.
That's true, because we think what's wrong with him. Because
Exactly.
we've been accustomed to knowing that men are promiscuous and women supposed to keep your legs closed at the ankles. I mean, that's just what it is. It's just like no one's going to change the fact that, okay, yeah, the comment was, women want to have fun, and that's true too. But for Rabia, they don't work. And I mean,
so Brian, let me ask you a question. You're not married, correct?
No,
so are you looking for a virgin? Are you looking for someone who's never had sexual intercourse?
No, but my mindset is a little bit different. Or I wouldn't say different, but in my mind, so let's just say I meet a woman, I'm totally attracted to her, we vibe, and I know that she's got 2 children, right?
Yes.
Or let's just say I know she's had one child. I know for a fact that she has had sex, unprotected sex, one time, if she's got at least one child, right? Mm-hmm. But to me, she has a clean slate, right? It's not that I'm going, oh, well, I'm looking for a virgin. It's just, okay, you've had past experiences, but the experiences between you and I are clean. They are genuine. They are all good until something breaks, until infidelity, until somebody starts lying. I'm taking you at face value with a clean slate, trying to find out who you are. So no, I'm not looking for a virgin. But if she is a virgin, let's just say I do find some woman, she's never had any children, and she's like, hey, I'm waiting for marriage. I'm a virgin. I do not see that as a negative, right? I don't see that as a negative. But most women, like I say, if it was reversed, most women, they don't care. They're not going. So, a quick scenario. As a basketball coach, there are times where when you go into the playoff, if 2 teams or 3 teams have a tied record, they'll either play another game to untie the record or they'll flip a coin, right? And there's a huge reason why teams don't want to flip a coin is because they're thinking about that they could possibly lose the coin flip and then actually have to go play an away game. instead of thinking that they can win the coin flip and then playing a home game. And it's the same thing with women and a dude with a virgin. They're going, if they see that a dude is a virgin, they're not going, well, maybe he's got something that I can work with, and thinking to hold the positive side. When women know that a man is virgin, they instantly think negative and go, he must can't do this, he must can't do that, and I'm not taking a risk trying to find out after I get married, and then I got to get a divorce if he can't stroke it, and then I'll forget working on it because what if he can't do this, and what if he can't do that, and it goes completely downhill immediately as soon as he says he's a virgin.
Not immediately.
Okay, we have a lot of comments.
Okay, go ahead, King.
Yeah.
Justin speaking. I'm sorry, it's CJ Boyd. He said, Justin speaking nothing but facts. And Brian said, thank you, Grace, with fire. And CJ said, Justin, do they watch our show? We went over this topic heavy. And CJ said, you was born in South Africa? I've been with plenty of virgins in South Africa when I was stationed down there. But they told me to keep it hush hush. You'd be surprised.
That's not young fool, man.
Well, hey, Robbie, your old South African angle don't work no more.
No. But think about it. I was born in a Sunni Muslim household. Okay.
Well, he said all that don't matter, and the Quran is and the Bible and all that's thrown out the window. All that virgin stuff thrown out the window. He didn't have plenty.
I'm certain many of my peers were having sex. I am certain, but in our household, we weren't doing shit.
But that's what's so funny, because even for me, I went to school with girls that would pride themselves on saving themselves. Like, no, I'm not having sexual intercourse, but they would do other things.
Mm.
And they would use other things to be penetrated in. Not saying y'all.
Okay, all right. Let me read some more comments. Let me read some more comments.
It's all about how he surrendered the comment. It's like not saying.
Yeah. Derek Smith said, men don't even like virgins anymore. That's the crazy thing. They don't like the emotional attachment. And the intellect said, total facts, B. Jones and Justin. And Derek said, sir, that sounds good in theory, but it takes a strong person to not let post relationships affect present ones.
True.
And then CJ said, these virgins finna get mine. They're saving themselves for the wrong guy anyway.
Yep.
And that's so true. I mean, I think to your point, Mr. Jones, like you hit it dead on. Like, most of these women, they're not looking for a man that's a virgin, because they're already thinking that. I'm trying not to be blunt here, but I can't. But most women already had that bottom knocked out anyway. So if you're a man that comes to a woman and says you're a virgin, imagine her penis imprint has already been set. So if you're a virgin, she's going to automatically compare you to what her best has been. And every man, woman, all of us do that. You compare to what you consider your best. And at the end of the day, they're already thinking you're not gonna make the cut. You're not gonna meet what I'm accustomed to having. And for men, it's extremely weird, because it's like, we're willing to take a woman and say, okay, you're a virgin, great. I get to mold her. I get to teach her.
We want to be the first.
Yeah, I get to give her that experience, and almost like I get to customize her to my liking. You know what I'm saying? Because usually, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but sex is usually designed to pleasure both parties, but usually the man is the one that's supposed to be catered to, correct? Can we all agree here?
No, I want to be catered to.
Yeah. What I mean is,
Justin, just like you want to orgasm, I want one too.
And I understand, and I get that. But usually a man is looked at as, if a man doesn't make the first move, it's not too many women out here that's going to make the first move, especially initiating sex for the first time.
Now in 2022,
It's 2022. I mean, come on. It's 2022.
But that's the problem. But that's a lot of the problem that we have with today's women in today's society, because most of them, and I don't understand this about women, but you guys do not like each other. I have seen women that are friends that'll have their girlfriend go talk about a man, and that next woman will come and try that man because the girlfriend said it was the bomb or it was so great. So now, hey,
I don't know people like that, so I can't comment on that because I don't know people like that. So
I mean, there's no loyalty nowadays anyway.
yeah,
It's just the
and
rule.
men
Like,
do
you
it
don't,
too.
like,
You
I
know,
know, you just don't do that.
come on, backstabbers, they smile in your face. Come on.
I mean,
That's
it's
true.
like a code. Like, you know, you just don't. Even if somebody approaches it, you know, your friend dates it or talk to,
Yeah,
you
don't
are
even. Yeah,
like,
I
you
don't
are
know.
mobster. We're not talking to you at
No.
all.
Right.
No.
Right.
I mean, you say that, but I've seen it where it'll be
No,
like,
you're right.
okay, y'all, what's y'all status? Y'all good? Where
Yeah. It happens. It happens in a lot of circles like that. My particular circle, I've got brethren that are in my circle that are from different factions that we've been cool for 20, 30 years. And our rule of thumb is honorable. Like if you look at another female and you holler at that female is off limits for life. But I've seen circles where a dude has a girlfriend, break up with her. A month later, she with the best friend. They go together, break up with her, and then the other friend in the clique done hit. And I'm like, say, man, like that's y'all. That's what y'all do.
Like that.
But you know, it do happen, like you say. It happens a lot.
It's more common than what y'all think. And
It is.
the sad, ugly truth about it, as far as men, is we can truly love a woman, but go out here and lay with the next woman, no problem, and not think twice about it because she don't mean nothing. This was nothing. This was just like you said earlier, a fantasy, or this was just something for me in the meantime. But it happens more often than not, and it's something that, honestly, in my opinion, women hold the key to this. So if you get women to understand, hey, don't be seduced or being in the situation where you're able to be seduced by a gentleman that you're attracted to, then I think you'll see a lot of improvement, and you won't be having these conversations as frequently as we have to have them.
And to your point, especially since women, I've said this before on this podcast, women are the most discerning, the most intuitive creatures on the planet. They can see a future a mile away, but they go after the futures. They go after the bad boys. They go after the guys that have the notoriety, the clout, and been with X amount of girls and got the money and this and that and this and that. They go after that guy anyway, knowing that it's about to be a firestorm. You know what I'm saying? And they women's propensity to try to change a man into a person that they want them to be to fulfill them is at a all-time freaking lack of self-accountability high, right? And that is a problem. There is a female that you know right now that's with a dude that you know that she shouldn't be with, that she shouldn't even started talking to, that she saw him being a no good dude a mile away, and she still went for him. Probably married the dude. Probably got kids by the dude. You know what I'm saying? You don't know nobody like that.
Nope.
Okay, well hey,
and I think the percentage is small on women who only go after like people with notoriety and things like that. I think that's such a small. I don't think that number is like 80% of women. I don't think that's 80% of women. That's a high number.
I'm not saying 80%, but I'm gonna tell you the reason why it's super, super high. Because that's all people are monkey see monkey. We are a monkey see monkey do society in this world. And what are the images that you have in TV, in music, in movies? You don't have a song called "What a Gentleman." You have a song called "I Want a Roughneck." You don't have a movie. You don't have a movie that suggests this man is awesome, but you have so many movies where a man cheated and a man's
I
this and that.
do. I understand about media. I do. I understand that. I just don't think it's high number. I don't think it's 80. I don't think it's 60% of women out there that are just looking for. Look at the women that you are with, Justin. The woman that you're with right now.
Yeah.
Well, look at
That woman was out
you might have to be a
before.
passed up. I bet you. The women that are in his life that are good women that have been in his life that he's chosen to be with are in a small percentage of the women that he's had to bypass because of the bull crap that they've carried, the trauma bonding, the sabotaging.
We all do that. We all do that.
No. I'm talking about the trauma bonding, the sabotaging, and the lack of healing from a no good dude that she should have never got with in the first place. And on my end, I'm telling you, it's
same thing. It goes both ways.
No. The other way is more. I'm not saying you're wrong, but what I'm saying, the other way is more. A no good man is with a good woman, and he manipulates her. He treats her bad. He cheats on her. She takes him back, which consequently, in reverse, is the good woman choosing the no good man.
No good
so
yeah.
I know what you're saying. It works both ways, but that's I'm not saying that's proving my point, but there are more no good men taking advantage of good women, which suggests that the good women are going after no good men.
Good men. Yep, and that was my whole point, and it shows. And if you want another example, go look at Sierra and Russell Wilson. I mean, honestly, she had a baby by Future. She was in videos, dancing for him and stuff. And then she realized very quick, but she had some guidance. She had coaching in her ear that made her realize her value, her worth, that made her really step up and say, you know what? Yeah, I did that. That was fun, but not for me.
Okay, let me read these comments before we leave. CJ said, I knew this woman on the top right was from South Africa because she sounds and looks like the same woman I took their virginity from. CJ said he know you. So
you don't know me.
He's gonna take a screenshot of the deal and print you out.
We gotta have her on the show, man. Hold on.
All right. The intellect said sex and satisfaction has to go both ways in today's time because of the female and sexual revolution that occurred in the 70s. Okay. And CJ said she's capping Maine, which I don't know what that means. Man. Okay. MAYNE. Okay. I need to be on the show next week. That's what CJ is saying. And he said, Brian is preaching tonight. Preaching. And that's it for the comments.
Oh my gosh. And we only touched the surface of this topic because I wanted to, but we don't have any more time, but I want to talk about how when women get raped and then when men get raped, you know what society says about that. Women get raped. Oh my gosh, she's such a victim. A man gets raped. Oh, how? Like, you know, no one takes it seriously, and men don't want to talk about that. But that's
physical.
That's all right.
It's physical. That's it. That's the only thing. It's the odds of a woman overpowering a man to where she rapes him is few and far between. That's the number one difference.
I'm gonna pee on you. You try to rape me, and I don't
know. No, she probably put something in your drink. You didn't even know what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Something. It's got to be something like that because it can't be overpowering. I can overpower a woman. The odds of a woman overpowering me are very slim.
Yeah.
Right. But did you ever? Okay, this is on another note. Did you ever read about the woman that used to work in a morgue that was raping the men when they came in there?
Yep. Yeah.
And she got pregnant. Have you?
Yeah, the necrophiliac. Yeah. Huh.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I mean, apparently, I was shook. Like. Anyway, I have thoughts on that, but
she must have been a terrible beast.
Imagine this. Anyway, no, that's not imagine.
I was just saying to a corpse. Like, come on now.
Yeah, and then she got pregnant.
That's
Yeah, to
it.
get a corpse excited, she must got some skills.
That's it.
So that means they came fresh. Like she got them when they were fresh. Because they couldn't have been dead long, right?
Same thing, he dead. 5 minutes an hour, he dead. That's a corpse. She got some skills. She got some skills if she can get a corpse excited.
Did she have that baby?
I don't know. But I don't know. But is it real news? I don't know. I mean, because I was trying to imagine how this is happening because I'm like, first of all,
that's just terrible. No way.
It is. That's a damn demon. That cannot be real.
Yeah, no, that cannot.
Guys, this topic was really fun. I had fun today.
Absolutely.
This topic was good. And CJ, we would love to have you on the show, but we're gonna have to ask you to behave. Cause I don't know who's that South African woman, but she ain't me, honey. She's dead now. Cause CJ looks like he's about 12. No, sir.
Damn.
Hey, CJ turned 25 on, what was that, Monday, I believe.
That translates to 12, like in my age. So anyway, guys, we want to thank you for listening. As you know, life happens, right? So, okay, next week, are you able to join next week? Justin and Brian? Oh, we'll talk about it later.
Oh, okay.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Are you going to play the video?
Girl, you asked me that. No.